In this video, you'll see how Africa's last hunter-gatherer tribe makes a toxic poison to kill their prey. Poison that can take down animals like this.
This is insane.
Even though hunting here is an ancient practice, the Hadzabe have developed sophisticated tools to take down anything from a delicate bird to a towering giraffe. On my third and final day with this tribe, I'm on a mission to dive deeper into this hunting lifestyle.
Do you think you will live this way the rest of your life?
But first, breakfast. A modest breakfast of leftover monkey meat will sustain them until lunch.
A couple nights ago, there was a hyena in the camp. You guys have a clip springer just hanging from a tree. Are you ever worried about animals coming into your camp to take your food?
No animal, they're afraid because they have bow and arrows, so they can shoot with their bow and arrows.
Here, making and refining bows and arrows is the morning routine. Those who acquired the monkey's tails from yesterday's hunt use its skin to decorate bows and keep any split in the wood from spreading.
They slit part of the skin in half and then they slide it down onto the bow staff. They cut it off, and so it creates these little like ringlets. It looks really cool. I mean, the monkey probably wouldn't be a fan.
Others start new bows from scratch. While there is no rule against women hunting, Hadzabe bows draw between 50 to 100 pounds of force, which restricts most women from participating in the single mode of hunting used here. However, the bowstrings are only made by women, traditionally using the ligaments of large animals.
And then on this side, they're making kind of a small bow. Where will these bows end up?
They give to their little boys.
Bows and arrows are the first toys a Hadzabe boy receives, a practical gift to prepare them for the brutal hunter-gatherer life ahead.
You know, nearby you is the Datoga people. They're very pastoral. They have a bunch of animals, cows, goats, and so on. And you interact here and there. What do you like about your lifestyle versus what you witness or what you see from the Datoga people?
The special things for them is to hunt. They like to live in this life. They don't want to be changed. But they like other people like Iraq or Datoga because they get some stuff from this tribe.
Despite living a nomadic hunter-gatherer life, the Hadzabe maintained a trading relationship with neighboring tribes. Tobacco and metal arrows are valuable goods they can only get through trade. But a Hadza arrow is more than just metal and wood. Shaving, heating, and straightening is required for all arrows. But each arrow has a unique tip suited to hunting a different creature. Ufufu walks me through his personal collection.
Ufufu, that's his name. And then I have no idea what else he just said.
He said, I'm going to explain about the different arrows. This one, it's called udunduako.
This is like a corn cob and then just kind of a piece of wood.
They use for the small birds and also for the small animals like squirrel, the bush baby, and the sound of the birds. They said when they shoot it, the bird is still alive. Just take it and bite it to finish, and then they put under the belt. This one they use for the rock hyrax, and also they use for the mongoose because you can see the small things here.
Right, there's like a hook.
When they shoot small animals, so they can pull from the hole or inside the caves. This arrow is called kasama. He mentioned two animals that are used for this arrow. The one is bush pig. When they shoot the bush pig, so this arrow is very sharp, so it goes inside and destroy inside.
That was such epic storytelling. What is the biggest animal that you've ever seen hunted?
The big animals he killed is antelope. He talked about this arrow they use for the big animal, the poison arrow.
Poison is what allows a Hadzabe to transform simple arrows into a deadly threat for larger prey. But where do they get the poison? And how do they make it? Equipped with a steel pot, the hunters head into the nearby forest. Here, each member attends to a different task. On one side, Ganda, the sharpshooter, and Dunha, the mentee, start a small fire. A little further away, Ufufu is crafting a wooden stake. while Chaba and Sakuro inspect a desert rose tree. This tree will soon become a deadly poison capable of taking down a giraffe or a zebra. Back at camp, the women warm up their outdoor kitchen for lunch prep. The remaining klipspringer from the previous day's hunt is portioned. The rest is tossed back on the tree for future use. Quinbali checks for any remaining poison in the meat. If it's bitter, she spits it out and moves on. That bitter toxin is the same one these hunters are making now.
I thought it would be something that's in the leaves. Maybe I've seen too many movies. They're looking for something that's within the tree, almost like a sap, a latex type material. They're gonna extract that and then somehow convert that into a poison that can go on the tip of an arrow and then hopefully into an animal.
Using the stake, Chaba pierces the tree. Though this desert rose tree is native to Africa, most who pass by it would never guess the dangerous compounds that can be unlocked from within. With a piece of cloth, they squeeze the tree's pulp, retrieving its liquid. Back at camp, the chopped klipspringer is washed thoroughly and brought to a boil. Quinbali carries out the tedious task of skimming any hair from the water's surface. A few steps away, the dogs enjoy their own morning treat. In the forest, things are also heating up.
The poison, it's in the pot. They had to boil it for about an hour. It's not exactly about making it hot, but about boiling away the water. That way it'll become thick and they can actually properly apply it to their arrow tips as needed. Since we have the time, I wanted to ask the chief a few more questions. First of all, what makes a good chief?
The best hunter who hunt a lot of animals.
Are you the best hunter here? Can you say that?
Say yes.
Do they agree? I'm curious because you guys hunt so many different types of animals. Even in just the time I've been here, you've got 3 monkeys. But you know, it takes a lot of time for animals to reproduce, to grow, especially to become viable for consumption. Over the years that you've been hunting or over your lifetime, is it harder to get animals now than when you were younger?
In wet season, they can find a lot of animals, but in dry season, sometimes they don't find it.
Centuries ago, seasonal changes didn't present a challenge to the Hadzabe as they moved according to animal migration. These days, the lands they once roamed are owned, protected, fenced, paved, or cleared for crops. If animals migrate into government-controlled reserves, they cannot follow. When the poison reaches the desired thickness, it's scraped from the pot. The hunters head back to camp. Chaba softens the poison paste by rolling it in ash and smashing it with a stone. They carefully wrap the paste around the arrow behind the tip. Once the arrow pierces an animal's skin, the poison will absorb into its bloodstream, dropping smaller animals within minutes and larger animals sometime over the course of the day. While the men finalize their weapon making, the women finish meal prep. Markalitiko washes the cooking pot inside and out, the very same pot used to cook the poison. Ugali is a corn flour mixed with water and stirred until it's solid and smooth like sticky mashed potatoes. It's a common staple in many parts of Africa. But how did it end up here? In fact, how did this isolated society acquire steel pots, genes, or even the permission to live and hunt amongst the animals in Africa's wild? Allow me to pull back the curtain. In order to preserve the Hadzabe way of life, Tanzanian authorities and NGOs have provided them with substantial goods, including corn flour, salt, the clothing they wear under their animal hides, and even nylon for bowstrings. In addition, the Hadzabe are the only people not taxed by the national government. Just for myself to come here, I paid for pricey permits that directly fund efforts to sustain this fading culture.
It is my final meal with the tribe here. If we were in the US, this would be enough meat for about 2 people. They're not eating huge quantities of meat. It's almost like they just want to flavor the ugali and enjoy just enough meat to get enough protein and enough satisfaction. But you don't see anyone really gorging themselves on meat alone. The chief has offered for me to partake. This looks like part of the backbone, maybe? Part of a shoulder blade? Oh, this maybe it's dry aged on the tree overnight. It is super gamey and actually tastes a lot more like mutton or goat or something like that today. And grandmother picked out a lot of the hairs. Well, there's a handful of hairs still on here. Have you ever gotten sick from the food you've cooked?
If they feel like stomach ache, they can find their local medicine.
I know they moved to this spot about 2 months ago, and eventually they're gonna move to the next spot. When will you move from this camp to a different camp?
It depends. If they still find the animals around, they will still live in the same place. But if not, they have to move.
About every quarter, Hadzabe groups move camp to avoid overhunting or foraging in any one area. But the more their hunting land is lost, the sooner their culture will be squeezed out of existence. But hope is not lost. By 2011, the Hadzabe were entitled to 57,000 acres of land. It was the first time Tanzania had ever recognized a minority tribe's land rights. Those numbers pale in comparison to their ancestors, but the Hadzabe are the land, and as long as there's land, there's hope.
One last bite with the ugali. I got some of the broth here. Not bad. That is it for me. It is bittersweet. I've learned a lot, and I know that I also know almost nothing. There's just so much here. It's so different. It's so unique. It's such an interesting lifestyle.
The Hadzabe carry with them a living history. I don't have to wonder how man survived thousands of years ago. Here, I can see it for myself. Far from superficial expectations and modern gadgets, here I've found humanity in its purest form. It's contained within the interactions of those who lead you, those who help you, and those who need your help.
I do want to attempt to say in the local language, thank you. Obea. Obea.
Nubea.
Obea. 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 Ja'aba. Obea. Best Ever Food Review Show is a small team of independent creators, and everything we do here works because of you guys. Click the link in our description to join our Patreon and receive exclusive benefits. A peace. Ofufu. Obea. 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 Doing my best. Obea. I don't even know how you make that sound. Okay, watch this up. Can you do that? Can you do that? Can you do the water drip sound? All right, see? We all got our own things that we can do. All right, I feel slightly better.
Before wrapping up, I'd like to thank our expedition leader, Adam, translator, Yusuf, and local fixer, Gumbo, of Experiential Travel.
Gumbo's been our local fixer. He does fixing and production in several different countries here in Africa. So I'll put his information here. Contact him if you'd like to do pretty much anything in Africa. He can make it happen if it's legal. That is it for this one. There's nothing else to say. You've seen everything on the screen and I put it all out there. I hope you enjoyed it. That is it for this one. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. A peace. I wonder how they'd say peace. A peace. Peace. I don't know. I can't do it. I need to practice.